The chair now recognizes Mr. Cummings for 5 minutes.
Mr. Prince, you're a very impressive witness, and I just want to ask you a few questions that cause me some concern that seems to go counter to some of the things that you've said. And I'm wondering whether Blackwater is actually helping our military or hurting them. Frankly, I'm concerned that the ordinary Iraqi may not be able to distinguish military actions from contractor actions. They view them all as American actions. Now, I want to go back to this incident that we've been talking about for the last few minutes, the 2006 Christmas Eve incident, where the drunken Blackwater official shot and killed a guard of the Iraqi vice president, which is basically like killing a Secret Service person guarding our vice president. When this incident first happened, an Arab television station ran an incorrect story saying that a, quote, drunken U.S. soldier, unquote, killed the Iraqi vice president's guard. Were you aware of this incorrect press report?
No, sir, I was not.
Of course, you can see how a media report like that makes it more likely that Iraqis will blame the United States military rather than Blackwater for the killing of the Iraqi vice president's guard. Again, equivalent of our vice president. Did Blackwater take any steps to inform the press that it was actually a Blackwater employee who killed the vice president's guard?
By contract, we are not allowed to engage with the press.
All right. And why is that?
That's part of the stipulations in the WPPS contract.
And this report aired, after this report aired, an official who works for you, and this is what really concerns me, and I just want to know your reaction to this, at Blackwater sent an email, this is an employee of yours, an email internally to some of his colleagues. He did not suggest contacting the station, I guess for the reason you just said. He didn't suggest putting out a press release, and he didn't suggest correcting the false story in any way. Instead, this is what the email said, quote, at least the ID of the shooter will take the heat off of us, meaning Blackwater. In other words, he was saying, wow, everyone thinks it was the military and not Blackwater. What great news for us. What a silver lining. Mr. Prince, you said in your testimony that Blackwater is extremely proud of answering the call and supporting our country. Did anyone in your organization ever raise any concerns that allowing a false story to continue might lead to retaliation or insurgent activity against our troops?
I don't believe that false story lasted in the media for more than a few hours, sir.
But the fact still remains that it was a false story, and we are trying to be supportive of the Iraqi government, trying to get this reconciliation, trying to make sure that they, as President Bush says that they stand up so that we can stand down. But at the same time, when these stories are put out, I think you would agree that the Iraqi people then say, well, wait a minute. This is the United States is supposed to be supporting our government. President Bush talks about how we have gone over to export democracy. Here is a very symbol, the vice president of a country killed by a drunken Blackwater employee, and yet and still it just seems to, you know, the question is then what lies in the mind of the Iraqi? What lies in the mind of those people who may have wanted to cooperate with our security over there, but then they say, well, wait a minute, if they, United States soldiers, but really Blackwater is doing this to the very government that we are supposed to be supporting, then what does that say, and why should we support the United States? Fair question?
Yes, sir. Look, I'm not going to make any apologies for the...
I'm not asking you to make any apologies. You're the president of this company, is that right?
CEO.
CEO. Well, you're the top guy. You're one of the top guys. Is that right?
Pretty much, yes,
all
sir.
right. So I'm just asking you a question about what your policies are. That's all.
We have clear policies. Whether the guy was involved in a shooting that night or not, the fact that he violated the alcohol policy with firearms would have gotten him fired on the spot. That's why we fire people. We hold them independently accountable. The guy slipped away from the party. He was by himself. I'm confident that if he had been with another guy from Blackwater, the other guy would have stopped him and said, enough. You know.
So contrary to what Mr. Burton said, this was after hours in the green zone, wasn't it? This wasn't some mission, was it?
Correct. It was
Right.
on his, it was on his own time.
And do you understand?
It was a Christmas Eve party.
And I've heard not a lot of complimentary things about what you all do, and I'm sure you do a great job. But it's not about what you do well. It's the question of when things go wrong, where is the accountability?
And sir, we fired him, we fined him, but we as a private organization can't do any more. We can't flog him, we can't incarcerate him. That's up to the Justice Department. We are not empowered to enforce U.S. law.
Do you think more should be done?
I'd be happy to see further investigation and prosecution by the Justice Department. Yes, sir.
Thank you.
And, I want to call on Mr. Micah next, but how much did you fine him?
Multiple thousands of dollars, sir. I don't know the exact number, but whatever we had left due him in pay, I believe we withheld, and plus his plane ticket.
Okay, thank you. Mr.